Try to recall right now the exact moment when you received incredibly good news about your own performance. It could have been the day you passed a very difficult exam, the email confirming your hiring for that dream job, the moment you received a significant promotion at work, or even when someone you greatly admire looked you in the eye and gave you a deep and sincere compliment about your talent. What do society, biology, and logic expect to happen to your body at that exact moment of glory? It expects you to jump for joy, that your brain is flooded with a delicious wave of dopamine, that you celebrate, call your family, and feel an unwavering and well-deserved pride in yourself. But be brutally honest with me. Looking back and searching your own mind, that's not what happened inside your head, is it? In the millisecond that praise or victory fell into your lap, your stomach churned, your heart skipped a beat, your hands broke out in a cold sweat. Instead of joy and celebration, a gigantic wave of silent panic swept through your chest. You gave that forced, humble smile on the outside, thanked everyone with your head down, but your inner voice began to scream in despair. My God, this was pure luck. It was a bizarre error in the system. The level of the other candidates must have been very low. They are absurdly overestimating me. It's only a matter of time. Tomorrow or next week, they will realize the grotesque mistake they made. They will see that I am not so intelligent after all, and I will be unmasked in front of everyone. If you live with this invisible ticking clock in your ear 24 hours a day, with the chronic terror that at any moment the competence police will knock on your door to collect your diplomas and audit your success, you are a hostage to what clinical psychology calls imposter syndrome. And I bet my life that you suffer from this in absolute silence, because confessing this pain aloud would sound like irritating false modesty or even madness to normal people. The internet and cheap self-help manuals look at your pain and give you a very lazy and cruel diagnosis. They point the finger and say you have low self-esteem, that you are very insecure, that you compare yourself too much, and that you need to make a gratitude list of your qualities. Look in the mirror every morning striking a superhero pose and repeating empty motivational phrases like, "I am amazing, I am deserving, I am a winner." But you and I both know that this is absolutely useless. Because to your analytical and hypervigilant brain, repeating that you're very good in front of a mirror just sounds like another blatant lie you're trying to tell to cover up your charade. But let me take this unhealthy guilt, this suffocating fear of being a fraud, and shine such a bright neuroscientific light on it that your brain will short-circuit with relief today. I'm going to prove to you using behavioral biology that your imposter syndrome is by no means a sign that you are incompetent. The most brilliant and liberating irony for your mind is that your constant feeling of being a fraud is, clinically speaking, the greatest and most absolute statistical proof of your genius and your extremely high intellectual capacity. Today we're going to perform an autopsy on your fear of being unmasked. I'm going to show you the brilliant math your amygdala uses to try and protect you. I'm going to explain why the dumbest people in the room are always the most confident. And I'm going to give you the master key so you can finally sit in the chair of your own success without apologizing for existing. So take a deep breath. Take off your imposter badge for a few minutes, lower your guard, and come with me, because your secret is completely safe here. To deactivate the panic alarm that goes off in your head every time you do an excellent job, we first need to understand a fascinating and cruel phenomenon of modern psychology, a mental optical illusion that you fall headfirst into every day. I call it the backstage asymmetry. Think of the metaphor of a grand, luxurious theater. When you look at the lives of your co-workers, your bosses, or the brilliant leaders in your online market, you're sitting in a VIP audience seat, watching their final performance. You see the perfect slideshow, the wonderfully articulated speech, the flawless promotional photo, the finished project. You only see the perfectly lit, edited, and flawless stage. But when you look at your own life and your own work, the yardstick shifts unfairly. You're not in the audience of your life. You live backstage. You have free, unrestricted, and uninterrupted access to your own inner chaos. You remember the sleepless nights, the panic of not being able to deliver that project on time, how many times you had to Google a question that seemed stupid, the anxiety that gave you a stomachache, and the visceral fear of everything going wrong at the last minute. Your work to you looks like a house of cards made of duct tape, wire, and hot glue, about to collapse with the first gust of wind. The tragic and lethal error of your analytical mind is comparing your chaotic, messy, and improvised backstage with the polished and perfect stage of other people. You look at the colleague at the next table and are absolutely certain that they were born knowing everything, that they never have doubts in the dead of night, and that their mind is an infallible machine. And because you know that your mind is a mess full of patches, you conclude logically but morbidly, they are true professionals. I'm an imposter improvising. You forget an unbreakable golden rule of humanity. Behind the illuminated stage of absolutely everyone you admire, there is a human being as scared, insecure, and patched up with duct tape as you are. Everyone is improvising in adult life, but almost no one has the courage to talk about it out loud. And living by paying that toll daily, reviewing every email 10 times for fear of making a silly mistake that proves you're a fraud, and attributing all your sweat and tears to mere luck, is a form of psychological torture that drains all your joy of living. And since you spend your whole life exhausted, with tense shoulders, assembling a gigantic mental dossier to try to prove your worth to the world and justify the space you occupy in the room, I want to offer you now an environment of total amnesty. I want to invite you to the only refuge on the internet where you don't need your resume and credentials. Transform this channel into your official safe haven and click the subscribe button right now. Do you know why clicking this button right now is the most therapeutic and subversive thing you can do for your own brain today? Because out there, the market, your family, and social media demand that you perform with excellence, absolute certainty, and perfection 24 hours a day. Out there, you are measured, audited, and judged relentlessly by your latest results. But here, I break that performance contract. By signing up, you send a clear and calming biological command to your nervous system. We've found a safe ecosystem, a closed-door room where the video creator doesn't demand genius from me, where my value as a human being isn't tied to not making mistakes. Leave the dense, exhausting technical part of dissecting neuroscience and human behavior articles to me. I'll take on the study shift for you. Your only mission here is to press that button, exist in your own silence, sit in our armchair, and have the unwavering certainty that your place in our tribe of exhausted minds is already guaranteed, without you needing to prove absolutely anything to me in return. Agreed? Pulled up your comfy chair? Excellent. Because now we're going to expose the true and brilliant subconscious reason that makes you reject your own success. When you do spectacular work and your mind immediately screams, "I was incredibly lucky, it was an accident, I was in the right place at the right time," you're not being humble. The false modesty of the imposter is not a moral virtue. It's a titanium shield against future burnout. It's a primitive defense mechanism of your amygdala against what psychology calls the burden of excellence. Your nervous system is a brilliant machine focused purely on your energetic survival. Your brain knows that if you accept praise wholeheartedly, if you say aloud, "Yes, I am incredibly good at what I do, and this wonderful result came from my intelligence," you automatically sign a terrifying, lifelong contract with the world. The internal mathematics of anxiety is relentless. If I admit I'm brilliant today and take that pedestal, they'll demand I be brilliant tomorrow, the day after tomorrow, and for the rest of my life. The bar of expectation has been raised forever, and the punishment for being too competent is receiving even more work, responsibilities, and demands that I won't be able to handle. Therefore, feeling like an imposter is the way your subconscious has found to pull the emergency handbrake. If you convince yourself and others that it was just luck, that anyone could have done that in my place, you remove the overwhelming pressure of having to maintain that untouchable level of excellence from your shoulders in the future. You sabotage your own merit like someone building a bunker. You diminish yourself not because you think you're incompetent garbage, but because you have a genuine terror of not being able to bear the weight of others' expectations. Your insecurity is just your exhaustion crying out for help and begging not to become an unattainable target. Furthermore, there is irrefutable mathematical proof, coined in cognitive psychology as the Dunning-Kruger effect, that will annihilate your fear of being a fraud once and for all. This phenomenal study categorically proves that ignorance generates far more confidence than true knowledge. Think about the people you know who are genuinely incompetent, shallow, and unprepared in life. They are full of certainties. They speak loudly at the meeting table, have no doubt whatsoever about their own opinions, and think they know everything, simply because their worldview is so incredibly limited that they lack the cognitive capacity to see the complexity of things. Stupidity is completely blind to its own ignorance. The golden rule of neuroscience is very simple. Mediocre people don't experience imposter syndrome. The true fraudster doesn't have a crisis of conscience crying in the shower at night and doesn't break out in a cold sweat of fear of harming the company. He takes immense pride in having deceived others. But not you. You study. You delve deeper. You read the fine print. You have a razor-sharp and painfully critical sense of your own work. And the great paradox of intelligence is that the more you learn, the more you encounter the gigantic and frightening ocean of things you still don't know. Your perception of your own size diminishes because your horizon of knowledge has expanded vertiginously. Chronic doubt, perfectionism, and butterflies in your stomach before delivering a project are not symptoms of your incompetence. They are the classic biological symptoms of someone who is a true expert and has an exact understanding of the weight of what they are doing. Blind certainty is the trademark of fools. Agonizing doubt is the inevitable burden of brilliant minds. And if science isn't enough to convince you today, I'll use your own flawless logic against you right now. We'll silence your anxiety through the master manipulator paradox. You lose sleep because you're absolutely certain you're a fraud, that you don't know what you're doing and that you fooled everyone around you your whole life, right? Then think about this with the coldness of a police detective. If you are indeed a complete incompetent, but you got a good job, graduated, have satisfied clients, receive your salary, and get constant praise, that means you've managed to deceive, blind, and mislead dozens of people all the time without fail. You brilliantly manipulated experienced directors, rigorous professors with 30 years of experience, difficult recruiters, and brilliant colleagues. You maintained a monumental optical illusion for years on end, and absolutely no one ever noticed your scam. Now look in the mirror very honestly and answer me this. Are you really a genius of sociopathy? A master of mind manipulation so spectacular that you could blind the entire world for a whole decade? Do you have all that Machiavellian energy to orchestrate the greatest intellectual coup of the century every morning without leaving a trace? Obviously not. And your logical brain knows perfectly well that it's not. It's mathematically impossible to falsify an entire track record of achievements based solely on lies, luck, and charisma. The job market isn't a charity. The adult world is a relentless meat grinder. If you were truly a useless fraud, the system would have chewed you up, recognized your incompetence, and spat you out years ago. But you're still there. You're still solving the difficult problems that others run away from. The ultimate secret to breaking free from this invisible prison is not trying to forcefully destroy doubt or feigning a confidence that doesn't exist. It's anchoring your worth not in the abstract perfection of your innate talent, but in the irrefutable brutality of your effort. Through what therapy calls the irrefutable sweat protocol. Your intelligence may even be the target of cruel doubts from your own ego. You may think your idea today was terrible, but your sweat is an undeniable mathematical fact in time and space. Look at your desk tomorrow morning and say, okay, anxious mind, maybe I'm not the great genius of the decade, but the nights I went to bed at 3 in the morning studying, the tears I swallowed in the office bathroom, the sacrifices I made, and the physical exhaustion I'm feeling now in my shoulders are not luck. Nobody typed that project for me. The ghost didn't take the test for me. I may doubt my intellect, but I absolutely refuse to doubt my perspiration. Luck doesn't cause gastritis. Luck doesn't burn calories, doesn't suffer from insomnia, and can't withstand the pressure of difficult meetings. All of that was thanks to you and your effort. The imposter only survives in the ethereal abstraction of genius. He dies suffocated and completely loses his arguments when confronted with the stamped and soiled receipt of the hours you worked and suffered. Embrace the burden of your greatness. The world out there is already cruel, noisy, and competitive enough without you doing your enemy's work for free by attacking yourself in the shadows of your own mind. Your constant fear of not being good enough isn't proof of incompetence. It's the greatest and most beautiful guarantee that you are infinitely above the arrogant average. Take possession of the chair that has your name written on it with your own sweat, and allow yourself for the first time in your life to enjoy the scenery and the applause without looking for the emergency exit. We'll see you in the next video, and remember, your mask of fraud will never fall simply because you've never been wearing one.